Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run, and I've got some exciting news. We are breaking off the podcast into its own channel on YouTube and Instagram. You want to get the shoe content, stick with Believe in the Run. You want to get the podcast content, check out BITR Networks. Links are in the description.
Give a good stretch, got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you want to talk fun, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, D-R-O-P.
Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
And this is Karl with Believe in the Run.
And welcome to an intimate session where we're going to get deep today.
Pretty deep into my origin story.
Yeah, so you may have heard Megan's origin story, Robbie's origin story, or even my own origin story.
That's right.
So we thought it was time to bring out Karl and let our listeners and our audience get to know him a little better in this special edition of The Drop.
I love that intro. We got to do more intimate intros, I think.
I know.
In the future.
Let's light the incense, Karl.
Yeah, where are the candles? Where's yeah.
So, hey, how long have you been with Believe in the Run now?
So I've been here, I would say close to 3 years at this point, a little over 2.5.
Okay, it's kind of crazy because time really does fly. I remember the first time that you popped up, it was during one of the largest shakeout runs we've ever had in New York City.
That was the precursor. Yeah, I remember. I went up to New York just for that run, and I was like blown away. I was like, dude. And I saw everyone from like the space there. So I was like, that was the first time I saw Kafuzi live.
Matt Choi,
Tommy Runs, like everyone. Lowe was there too, actually.
Yeah. It was a power pack. Yeah, that was, if there was a We Are the World, I don't even know if people know what that was, but like it was an all-star shakeout. That was nuts.
Right.
So anyway, you started at Believe in the Run because we had a position that we were trying to fill.
Yes.
And what was that position?
I believe on the Instagram story you guys posted, it said media coordinator, which basically was video guy, photo guy, anything, media related to the content.
So before we get into running, you want to give a little bit of your resume in the video space?
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, so I went to William Patterson University in New Jersey. I got a degree in communications there with a specialty in like media production. That was like the track that I took. Since then, I've been working kind of just as my trade, like a camera guy, video editor, more on the shooting side, I think. But I've also edited at edit houses in New York. I did one for like HGTV, so all those home renovation shows. I kind of had a hand in a lot of those episodes. I've written and directed a few short films with my buddies from film school, so that was cool. Won a couple awards at some festivals and stuff, so that was pretty cool. But mainly, I got into this more like in 2016 when I got a job at like a news station. It was like a regional news station. It was Verizon Fios 1. And I worked on this show called Restaurant Hunter. It was like a 30-minute
Restaurant Hunter.
Yeah, it was a 30-minute TV show where like we just went to restaurants and highlighted them. But
which is now, I mean, would be an Instagram show.
Exactly. Yeah, you could do that basically on your phone. And that was actually the start of like that's the first time I heard the term influencer, was like working in that industry, because food influencers and whatnot, they were starting to come up and everything. So we were always like, we're better than them.
We got better camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had some crazy hours. Like you used to commute back and forth from New York in like the middle of the night.
Yeah. So yeah, I grew up in New Jersey. So I still lived in Jersey basically until I moved here to Baltimore. But I would go, like my night shift happened during that run at the production house for HGTV and whatnot. So I was working 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. I was basically setting up the day for the editors to come in the morning and have everything they need. So it was like an assistant to the assistant editor, basically. But the travel, too, was just insane. Like working at Fios 1, like I had to travel. It was like Long Island, New York State, and New Jersey were like the zones of coverage. So on any given day, I'd be driving out to like close to Montauk.
You could be like a shoe rep.
Yeah, essentially. That's what they all, it's just a bunch of traveling, and then you just work, and then you travel more. And then, but yeah.
All right, so let's get a little bit into running. And
sure.
One thing that's interesting about our entire team, and this wasn't intentional, but I think like minds kind of gravitate towards each other. None of us were runners in high school or college. We all came in almost as like adult runners. I'm trying to think, is there anybody on our team that was like
Well, I think Ryan ran in college. I think Helen ran, like she did sports, so she like had to run.
Well,
but,
Megan did sports.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. But
I
as
did
far as
sports.
running, like track or something or
Yeah.
cross country, I don't think so. I think maybe Ryan, but other than that, I don't think anyone else has.
All right. And I think that it's a special type of runner that comes in a little bit later.
Yeah.
And let's find out, when did Karl start running and why?
So, so throughout my entire like video production career or whatnot, I was not running. I wasn't even thinking about it. Never crossed my mind at all. And it wasn't until
Was your dietary habits good?
Well, I ate very well. I'll tell you that much. Going to all these different restaurants. That's how pretty much.
Oh, that's right. You were filming
They would
restaurants.
make us plates and we'd film them. Then we get to obviously eat them afterwards. So that
Nice.
was kind of like the on the job compensation. But I definitely wasn't fit by any means. I was still regularly smoking cigarettes.
Oh,
I
boy.
picked up that habit like pretty early on, like in 16, 17, whatnot. So yeah, whatever. I was just like whatever about health and fitness and stuff like that. And then the pandemic happened, and that was when it was just like, because at that point, the station that I worked at folded. It was like late 2019, so I took a few months off.
Oh, right before COVID.
Right before COVID, I was working on a short film that I got complete. It sucked because I finished in February of 2020, and I was telling my producer, I was like, "Oh, let's rent out a theater. Let's do a screening. We'll donate. We'll do a whole charity thing." It was supposed to be like a big thing, and we're like, "Yo, let's do it let's do it at the end of March. Let's give ourselves a month, And then nope, that all came to a halt.
Geez.
So during the pandemic, I think like many other people, no idea what was happening. I'm sure a lot of people like myself indulged in a little too much alcohol consumption. And that's kind of what I did. It was sort of like, you couldn't go anywhere. So like my like time out of the house was just to go to the liquor store. That was like my joy. I was looking forward to that, picking up a 6-pack, or whatever. And then I guess fast forward through all that, it was not until after, I would say like spring of 2021 when things started opening back up, whatever. At that point, I was pretty much like, I was living at home with my parents and I was feeling just very like depressed coming out of the pandemic, just like, shit, I'm unemployed. Like I don't have a job anymore. I don't have income coming in. I feel like crap all the time. Just like going up the stairs in my house was like, I was out of breath. It was like that typical, like stereotypical, like, oh man, like I can't even climb a flight of stairs, but it was like actually true.
You stopped halfway up and lit up a smoke.
yeah, exactly. Now at that point I had already quit actually. But yeah. And then, so like the spring came, and yeah, even then I still spent a lot of time at home. So like my friends at the time were just like, dude, you're in a funk. You got to get out of it. You got to do something. And one of my friends suggested, like, you should just go for a walk. Like, just go for a walk and see how you feel.
Get outside.
Yeah, just get outside, dude. Like fresh air. Come on, springtime, and whatnot. So I did that, and I found myself like actually enjoying like walking around and stuff. So I would walk about an hour every day.
You keep up with Robin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's crazy though, because like you're out there for a while. Depending, she does like 4 miles a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would walk an hour, and I started using the what was that app? It was like the ASICS app, the Runkeeper.
Oh, Runkeeper. Yeah.
I downloaded that on my phone because I don't know why. I just got curious. I'm like, how far am I walking every day? Like, I knew
that would have been the first. I don't think my mind. I wouldn't have been able to not. Like, even if it was just recording in my head, like for my own, like this is 3 miles or this is that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to know. And so I was like, all right, like it was the first app that popped up. So I'm like, whatever. So I did that, and I noticed a pattern that for about a week, I was walking basically 3 miles every day. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, 3 miles. Okay, cool. That's
You weren't like 5K?
Yeah. Well, my boss at the time, so when I started working at a production company again, that my former, he was like he went to the same school as me. He was a few years older, but he opened a production company, and I'd work with him intermittently throughout the years. I started working with him full time after the pandemic, but he also kind of runs. He's kind of like a fitness dude also, but he was like, "Oh, dude, like you're basically walking a 5K every day." And I was like, "Oh, 5K." I'm like, "That's what that meant?" Because I actually had no idea what that that term meant.
Yeah.
I was one of the 5K marathon guys. It's
Yeah, zombie marathon.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, the color run, right?
Oh, you're gonna do one of those?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But
Can I ask what shoe you're wearing at this point?
I was just wearing. I don't think I had.
Like, were you wearing lifestyle?
Basically, just for the walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had like Converse, Vans. I had like a pair of old like Nikes. I forgot which ones, but like the SBs or something.
So you, at this point, you're not like, this is a sport or anything. This is just, I'm walking.
This is just for my own mental clarity, just for me to feel a little bit better about my day, enjoy the weather after we've been locked up for so long. It's like that. It was like that type of mentality. But then I don't know when the idea came to me, when I was like, let me just try to run it. Because in my head, I'm just like, all right, an hour every day, that's 3 miles. That's a 5K. I'm like, well, how much faster can I like do this walk? Like,
can I break down faster than an hour?
yeah, exactly. I'm like, can I just get this done get it over with like quicker? And it's funny growing up. My parents actually bought a treadmill and I was using it at like a pretty young age. I don't know why. I didn't like sports. I didn't like playing sports or anything, but for some reason running, I loved watching Rocky. That was like one of my favorite movies growing up, like hands down one of my favorites. And I always just loved the training sequence, running through Philly, just the way the camera glides.
All right, so SWIFTWICK has been a sponsor now for a while, and I got to say, I love their socks. As a matter of fact, this weekend, Karl, you and I did the Faster Bastard Sufferfest.
Oh, yeah, right there in Oregon Ridge.
We both did over 20 miles of loops in this park on trail, and I tried to keep my feet dry, but I even went into the water at one point. You remember that?
There were a couple of crossings, yeah.
I think
more than I thought.
Yeah. Anyway, the socks, I wore SWIFTWICKs, and my feet were comfortable from mile 1 all the way through mile 24, and everything felt good. I had no hot spots. Even when they got wet, they dried out pretty quick on the loops. And temps weren't like super hot, so I was afraid that I was going to have wet feet for a while. But the socks performed great. I didn't have to even change my socks the entire run.
That is awesome. That's the best feeling. When you bring the extra socks, but you don't have to use them. It's always great. Less laundry.
All right. So great news is that you too can get SWIFTWICK socks, and we have a special deal for you, especially if you're a listener of the drop here. And you get 15% off your first purchase with the code BELIEVE15. You can go to swiftwick.com and then apply that code. Get yourself some socks.
Get yourself the socks. But yeah, I just love, like, I kind of just like the idea of running, like, seeing it was cool visual, right?
There is something, and I think we've gotten used to it because now everybody films themselves running, and you can get like beautiful footage of, Tracksmith style running.
Yeah.
But back then, when you saw someone running like Chariots of Fire or Rocky or whatever, Tom Cruise, there's something kind of romantic about the nice slow run. Like,
well, it's kind of like, when you watch an animal in the wild go, it's like this kind of the same thing. It's like you see someone going and they're like, their stride looks really good. They're wearing cool looking clothing and shoes. And it's like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like,
there's something spiritual about it.
Exactly. So I was like, I think that's where that idea started. Like, it's always in my head that like, running's pretty cool, but I just never got into it. So now I was in a position where I'm like, all right, I can actually try like to do it. And so before I even got a watch or anything, what I did the first time. So this is when I guess you could say my first running shoe experience. I had a pair of Adidas Ultra Boost 19s, triple black.
All right.
I had bought those for lifestyle, like, at that point 3 years ago. So, but I was like, okay, this is like the only thing that I have that's like a running shoe. So I remember putting that on. I put on a pair of like 9-inch basketball shorts that like went down to my knees, according to Walters, Yeah. And then I wore like a white
beater. Tell me a white. Okay.
No. White, just a white cotton t-shirt.
Okay.
I think it was like Hanes. It was like an undershirt.
New Jersey style.
Yeah, exactly. Street style. And I forgot when this was. I think this was just like in May or early June at that point. But I remember running out, like just getting out my door, and then I just started going down the street. And that's like the first time I actually like ran like in a while. And I went down like this hill. Like my house is like off of a main road that's like kind of hilly. And And so like it went down and that felt pretty good. And then the up started and I stopped. I immediately stopped. And I was like, no.
Had you seen other, like when you're out there running, did you see other runners?
Not at that point. Where I lived and grew up, it was like, it's a suburb. So it's like it wasn't like a downtown area.
High
or
traffic.
anything. Yeah. So it was kind of just like, I think you'd maybe see one or two. It was very sparse. More people just walking dogs or whatnot. But, where I was also running was like close to a cemetery. So like, I remember stopping and I remember just like looking over at the cemetery and then just like feeling my heart beating out of my chest. So I'm just like, this has got to be a sign for something, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was like so upset that I just like the lungs on fire feeling, like getting a stitch, like just all the newcomer, my knees were hurting, all the new stuff that like you get introduced to that people make people quit. And they're like, this isn't fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I'm like, I'm just going to try it again at some point. Like, I'm just going to do it again. So I think I took a few days off or whatever and then started again. And I'm just like, I don't know why I'm so adamant about wanting to like at least run a mile. I don't know what it was. I was like, I just want to do it. I just have to do it. So a really good friend of mine, who's still a good friend, Kevin, he's a cyclist. Sup, Kevin? I asked him, I'm like, dude, like, should I get like a fitness watch? Like, is that like the next move? And like, so I'm not carrying my phone around, having it jiggle in those like really big basketball shorts. And he had the Garmin 4Runner 55, pretty old model now, but at the time it was relatively new. And I had some stimmy money left over, so I was like, $200, yeah, whatever. It's like that's a decent purchase. So I bought the watch.
It's for my health.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I told myself. Well, this is a good thing. This is a positive thing.
There's a positive loss of money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll feel good about it at some point. And I remember going to my park, my local county park, which is an awesome park. It actually is like an exact 5K loop around, and then they actually have like a really nice track.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they're like a really legit, like with the bleachers and everything, like with the soccer
You've
field.
done some filming there, haven't you?
Yeah,
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that, like my influencer wannabe days coming up after this shortly. But that was a park where I basically not mastered, but I basically got the basics down of like.
It's been so long though. Like you brought up the stitch in the side stitch, and now it immediately brought me back to when I first started running.
Yeah,
and I don't recall how that eventually goes away, but like the red face, the side stitch, and of course shin splints.
Yeah,
they're real.
Yeah, they're real, and it just seems like they're unavoidable. Like you could read as many articles and try and do it, you're gonna feel it anyway.
It's almost a, I guess you would say, rite of passage.
Yeah.
That if you can get past, it's like, how like when you're playing video games and there's like you just have to get past that one.
Oh, the
part.
one boss. Yeah.
And you get past that and the game opens up.
Yeah.
And so that opens up. You're wearing big basketball shorts.
Yeah.
Ultra boosts. Mm-hmm. But you're kind of feeling like a runner at this point.
Kind of. I still kind of had that imposter syndrome. I'm like, who am I kidding? I like would run. I would, obviously you're doing the run walk thing, and like you're just like I'm stopping every like not even a quarter mile, like 0.18 of a mile. I'm just like, oh my god, dude, this is like insufferable. Like I can't believe I'm forcing myself to do this, and I don't know why.
Kind of like the 10 miler in London.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, but at least I knew how to run.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot further too.
Yeah, that's true. But I remember when I did run my first like 5K, it was like 40 minutes. I think the average pace was like 12:32. I did a lot of stopping and just like whatever.
Did you have an idea of times when you did that?
I actually did. So my younger brother, Justin, he ran track in high school. And I think he ran like an 18 and a half minute 5K. Like that was his yeah. And then my friend who recommended me the watch, he's a cyclist now. He used to also run track in high school. So I kind of had a decent. I'm like, what's a really, would you say, solid like, whatever? They're like, well, if you're new, like under half an hour. If you're like pretty advanced, under 20, like that type of thing. So when I heard it, like, and he was a pretty good runner too. He competed and stuff. So I think his was like 17 high or something.
Yeah.
So like back in the prime. So I kind of had an idea. So when I did it in 40 minutes, I'm like, okay.
I got some work to do.
Yeah, I'm like, but this is what it feels like to do from beginning to end. That's what 5K is. Like, that's exactly how 3 miles feels. And I was just like, you just gotta do that over and over again. And it was great because it was at a time now, like it was summer, like the first summer back, everything's open again, and just started to feel like normal life was like coming back. But it was cool that I'm like, oh, I got this new thing that I'm like messing with. Like it's a new hobby that I can like, mess with.
Now you're pretty much a gearhead. Like
Yes.
you're into cameras, music.
Yeah. Like tech stuff. Yeah.
Not just listening to music, but also you have instruments and you can play the guitar,
Sure.
and stuff like that. How long did it take you to figure out how many ways there is to delve into the tech of running?
Man, I mean, I guess like, yeah, it took, so in between the time, I'm trying to think of like my first milestone running, which would probably be my first race, which I'll get to. But it was in that time, like after I did my 5K, I'm like, all right, well, I need an upgrade. Like I need new shorts, I need new shirts. The cotton was not doing it for me. I could tell now, I'm like, okay, cotton is not the move in the summer. Sweating like a hyena, basically. So I started, Googling, and obviously you had all the big hits like, Runner's World. There was like other like Reddit. Also, I started like diving into some Reddit, like subreddits. But I was like, I think like my first actual like upgrade, I would say would be Target.
All right.
Like the all in motion. Yeah. And I'm like, this feels techie enough. It's relatively cheap. But so that wasn't like the thing. But the shoes, I was like, I got to get new shoes. Like I feel like that's like the next move, right? Like just finding a good pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked around, and a bunch, like I basically, cut a long story short, I ended up on the Glycerin 19 from Brooks. And of course, they got sold the insoles, the super feet. So I
Yes.
spent a solid $200 back at Jackrabbit when they were
I'm
a
going to
thing.
run that 35-minute 5K now.
Yeah, dude. But I remember just putting them on my feet. I'm like, oh, these are so plush. These are so like, I feel so high off the ground.
Yeah.
Like, that type of thing.
Which you're wearing glycerin right now, aren't you?
Actually, yeah, that's true. The 23s, I'm going to review these. These are actually pretty comfortable. Not going to lie. but the 19s were like my shoe. And they were my shoe for a while, but then I actually did start to feel, the more I ran in the summer, the more I was increasing my mileage. I threw the 10% rule out the window, which kind of was a bad idea, but I was ramping up. I basically was hitting like 5 miles, 6 miles. I remember building up to like an 8-mile run, all within like a month and a half of like consistent running.
Got excited.
I got excited. I was really feeling it at that point. Like I was like, that's when I started like going on YouTube, and I was watching Kafuzi and just like everyone else in the space that we know making content. I was like, oh, there's like a market for like running content. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's for me. I was like, oh yeah, we did that in the food thing. Now it's coming, and that's here at running. I'm like, that's pretty cool. But when I remember running in the glycerins, I was like, these are kind of heavy. They kind of feel blocky. Like the DNA foam back then was like, so I was like, I got to start looking for like another pair of running shoes, just something a little bit quicker and like lighter. And that's when I found you guys, Believe in the Run, hit the Google best beginner running shoes 2021. And the article came right up. The YouTube playlist came right up. And that's when I first saw you, Robbie and Megan, like just doing reviews with the shoe wall behind you. And, I was like, oh, these guys seem like they know what they're talking. There's a lot of shoes back there. It seems like they know what they're talking about.
It's funny. The shoe wall does give you credibility.
It does. It really does. And I'm like, well, it's not there for decoration. They obviously wore these shoes.
Yeah.
And I think the first pair that I bought, that I watched you and Robbie do a video review on the New Balance Fuel Cell Prism V2.
Okay.
Because that was also at a time when everyone thinks they need to be in stability shoes.
Yeah.
But I was smart enough to be like, I don't think I need full on stability. I need like light stability because my right ankle, even to this day, is a little squirrely.
Yeah.
So I'm like, light stability. And I had seen your review on the Rebel V2, and I remember like how hot that shoe was.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm feeling the Prism. So I got the Prism, and I'm like, I actually really enjoyed that shoe. I put on like,
that was one that Widefoot Jarrett really liked.
really,
Yeah.
yeah. I know it was a little bit firmer than the Rebel V2, but yeah, I thought it looked good. The styling was really cool. It had like the orange and purple with the white upper. Like that was really cool. And I think that was around the time I started realizing like the nuances in like shoe specs and like I know the drop doesn't really, matter too much, but like it was good to know like what that was doing to your foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the different types of
Well,
uppers.
it does. I do think it matters depending on.
Well, yeah, it does,
foot
but-
strike.
Yeah,
I think you're pretty much midfoot.
Yeah, midfoot to forefoot.
So
sometimes.
I don't think the only time drop really comes into play is if it puts the brakes on your stride.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was like a 6 mil drop. So I just remember it being like really smooth, like going through the stride. And I was like, okay. And that's when I started like, I was watching you guys, I was watching Co. I was like, all right, let me get the phone out. Let me. It was really more of just like impress my friends who aren't running. Just be like, look what I'm doing now. Like that type of thing, just showing off.
all right, so you started doing videos?
Yeah, I started just like doing like Instagram stories and just like showing off my fit and just like, like back then they didn't have the Strava like transparent like layout. So you just had to screenshot like the Garmin app and be like, yeah, check out that heart rate,
That's
like,
amazing.
along with the distance. And then, so summer came and went basically getting into the fall. And I signed up for my first race, which was the Princeton Half Marathon. That was my first race ever. I've never lined up at a race before.
So you went straight couch to
Couch to half
13.
marathon. Yeah, basically. Because I had run 13 in August, like late that, like it was like around my birthday. And I was like, I'm just going to go to the beach and just do like, it was a really nice beach down in Jersey, Sandy Hook. And it's really great for running. I still go there. Like I love going there for long runs. And that's where I did my first 13-1 on my own. And I was like, I could do that. I could probably do the race. And so, but I was like, I need race shoes now.
That's when the money really starts to go.
Yeah, that's when I was working again. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I can blow a little money on this. But I did buy, I didn't buy a full on race shoe. I bought the Endorphin Speed 1s.
Okay.
On sale at Dick's.
I mean, that's a lot of people will use that.
That was back when it was hot because the 2 was basically the new model at that point. And I heard there wasn't much different from 2 and 1.
Yeah.
So 1 I got for maybe like $120. So
Yeah, definitely an affordable way to get into the race day.
And so that's when I started doing speed. And that was the shoe actually that was like the first time I ever felt like a rocker geometry, first time with a plate, first time with PEBA foam. Like that's the first time I ever felt that kind of like material.
Bounce.
Yeah, on a shoe. And when I was going, I was like, I get it. I understand it. I get it now. So again, that was bought off the recommendation of you guys.
It is always funny to me when we talk about shoes in general, and somebody will be like, "Well, he's faster than you, and he wears this, or that guy, can win a 5K in a pair of, whatever."
Yeah.
And you're like, "But think what they could do in the right shoe."
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like, of course, physical talent is physical talent, but if you could put on the right shoe, you can get a little more enjoyment out of it and maybe a little more speed.
Right. I mean, the same thing with like a photographer. Like you're a gifted photographer, you have the eye for it, whatever. But like you'll do better with a better camera than you will
Yeah.
So it's like kind of the same logic. But yeah, so I ran my first half. I had terrible IT band syndrome after that. Like leading up to it and after, like I ended up taking like a really long break, like almost a month.
Do you think it was because you jacked up your mileage?
I
so
knew
quick?
it was. Yeah, I jacked up my mileage too quick. I just was not like recovering enough because I was so excited.
Yeah.
So after that race, and I came in actually sub 2. That was like my goal was do a sub 2 half, and I came in at like 158.
All right.
So
First shot? That's great. Not bad.
Yeah. And that was like it's actually a really hilly course. Like it's pretty flat, but then like there's like a hill in Princeton that like you go up and then descend like in the back half. It's like mile 10. So like that it was like a really killer like introduction to uphill racing. But I did that and I was like, oh, racing's kind of fun. That's cool.
People.
People. The medal. I'll never forget though. I remember I started that race. Some guy had the original like the Metaspeed Skies, like the red, like the fire red ones. Man, those were the squeakiest shoes.
That was a loud
It
shoe.
was so loud, dude. And people around me were commenting. They're like, whose shoes are those? Like, And it was funny because he was like behind me.
Well, what's interesting is that they a lot of the shoes now are working on becoming quieter because I think there's an advantage to not being heard when you're either up ahead or
if you're an elite.
Or pulling up behind someone.
Yeah, it'll change your strategy, like like your perception or whatever. So that's true. But so I did that, And then basically just started running it. And so I'll be running now for about like close to 4 years this summer. Yeah, I've done a couple races. My first marathon was Amsterdam, which is actually around the time that like
you
working here.
were hired, but you were like, hey, I'm going to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, see you later.
Yeah. Well, because I was still in Jersey, so I was already like, I remember when I reached out to you guys, and then Meg emailed me back, and we were trying to figure out like logistics, because I'm like, I have to get an apartment down there. I have to like basically break my lease. I have to quit my job, tell my family, you know, that type of thing.
Burn some bridges.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Yeah, everyone was super supportive.
When you did Amsterdam, though, that was it still is your PR, isn't it?
Yeah, 3:25 on the dot, 00 official, unofficial marathon time. You can go ahead and vouch that.
Okay, so as someone who recently ran a marathon, not working the entire weekend at like a major and then running marathon, is it harder to run a marathon after you've been with Believe in the Run?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely. Yeah, just because when we're out there, we're working, and then Amsterdam, I was just a tourist. I was like,
you get to get off your feet.
Get off my feet. I get to just go and do stuff like tourist stuff. I just went to museums. I didn't stay off my feet completely until like the day before, but like I was there for a few days beforehand. So like, just exploring the city, not having to worry about capturing anything or like having my camera out at all times type of thing. And then the night before the race, just having everything laid out. Went to bed really early, that type of thing, But yeah, running a race now with the team, and like when we go out to do these events, it's like it's a lot.
Like I keep forgetting it because we've been doing it for long enough.
Yeah.
But it is. We come into things. You're not exactly well rested, and going. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. So all right, so you start at Believe in the Run.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so moving down, when Meg gave me the offer, I remember, I'll never forget when you guys actually gave me the offer. I was walking in the red light district. It was like 10 p.m. my time, and I've had a couple beers already, and this was actually before the race too, which is hilarious because I was like with my friends, I'm like I can't not indulge a little bit, but I remember Meg gave me the offer letter and everything, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm moving to Baltimore. And I'm in Amsterdam right now. It's like one of those like, what is my life type of moments. You're like, because I've lived in Jersey like my entire life, so like the thought of like leaving and moving, I'm like, I don't know how to move. It was kind of like a cathartic moment. It was one of those like ones that you put a stamp on in your brain. You're like, all right, this is
life changing.
This is where things happen now. There's like there's a different direction like you're heading in.
All right. So. Speaking of, Baltimore gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
And you moved down here. Does it deserve it?
No. For the record, I will say I love The Wire. I know that's the one show, but I will say I actually do love The Wire. And I also came to Baltimore several times. Like I went to the aquarium. It was a field trip like in middle school. I had a friend who lived here in maybe like 2015, 2016. And me and another friend came to visit him. And I forgot where he lived exactly, but he took me to like THB down in like Canton, and like we walked in the park and stuff. So I knew of, Baltimore, and so I'm like, yeah, it's nice. I'm like, it's a city. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I could vibe here, like, totally. So, where we are though is like, that's like the part everyone thinks about though, So that's the part I stay in for the most part. But no, it's Charm City, man. It's like there's all parts. Yeah, it's a city. There's good and bad everywhere, but like that's just how it is. But there's a lot more like good areas than you would think. Yeah. So that's kind of
there's a lot happening in Baltimore that I don't feel like we deserve the shade that we get, but also look, it's so close to the other cities and the running for this running community. I
was surprised, actually. That's the one thing I'll say that I was very surprised at was how many runners there are here in Baltimore. Just like the races that like get put on like throughout the year, and just like the amount of people who show up. I remember just like being at BRF like this past October, just watching everyone come down Eastern Ave for the half. I'm like, yo, that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot. Like for a city like a smaller city like this.
Yeah.
Like,
And you participated in, obviously, Believe Run Club
Yeah.
and made friends. I think that was, from watching from the outside coming in, what you had almost like an immediate group of people to hang out with.
Yeah, it was nice because, you know, I'm not normally a shy guy. I'm kind of like introverted in a way, but like, you know, it's nice when there's like people around who are like, it didn't feel intimidating to like go up to someone and just like introduce myself or like whatever. So like, yeah, I met a lot of people like within the first like 3 weeks of going to Run Club. Like I basically met like all the friends that I still talk to now. So yeah, it just felt like a very natural, like easy way to like get into the city and like learn more about people here. So
Yeah. And of course, we were moving pretty quick at the time. So almost your first week, like...
my first week was insane, dude. I moved here on a Sunday. We were on a plane to Austin on like Wednesday.
Karl, I know you don't have as much of it as I do, but I love my SOAR gear.
I know you talk about it all the time in the office.
It is my new favorite short, without a doubt. I just love it. As a matter of fact, I need to get through my laundry just to get those back out here and into rotation. But really excellent fabrics, fit. And I'm going to mention in fit, I go up a size in it. They're UK sized, and I feel like they're a little bit on the more athletic sizing than I am. So I go up a full size. I normally wear a medium, and I go up to a large in SOAR gear. But everything works great, especially in this transitional period where you're not sure if you need a long sleeve, a short sleeve, vest, because the temperature changes. So, yeah, pick up some gear.
Yeah. And, you know, to celebrate our sponsorship with SOAR throughout March of 2026, we're giving 2 listeners a chance to win either $300 gift card, £250, depending on where you are. That's a SOAR gift card. To enter and be in with a chance of winning, simply enter your details on the website at soarrunning.com, and winners will be informed at the start of April. So you have a couple weeks.
Yeah, find the link in the description.
There you go.
Okay,
It was
so
like,
yeah.
what? It was so crazy. Like, actually, no, that's not true.
Probably
Because that
couldn't
was,
even unpack yet.
no. Well, actually,
When was Olympic trials?
that was January.
Okay, so we had...
That was like
a
my
month
first
later.
actual trip. Yeah, that was like, yeah, but the running event was nuts. Like, because I had watched your coverage from like the year before. Yeah, and to anyone listening, like, I don't think you understand. Like, I was a fan of Believe in the Run, like, hardcore. Like, the podcast was my long run podcast everywhere. I looked forward to it. Whenever it was a day late, I got upset. I was like, why are they taking so long to release it? But yeah, so I knew of the running event and stuff. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, you know, that's my first job. It's like the first thing I'm doing, I guess.
Now that you've seen like the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
because most people they see the videos and we pump out shoe things.
Yeah.
What's it like behind the scenes working it?
It's pretty cool, actually. Like, you learn a lot. Like, you learn a lot about just like, I mean, the industry as a whole, but then certain brands and who represents the brands, and like, you just meet a ton of people. Like, obviously, my last line of work, I also met a ton of people, but like, this was a little bit different because it's like, they're also into like the gear techie side of things. So it's like meeting people like that. Like, at my last job, the people that I met were the other side. They were the client. They're like whoever, just like the personality, like being able to meet the people who are like kind of nerdy in the same way that I am about certain things. Like, that's cool. And then of course, being able to actually capture the content and just like getting the shots and just like applying everything that I learned growing up and like filming my own stuff, being able to do that now on like a daily basis is like really cool. It's like really cool. It's a blessing that I'm
It's
able
also
to do this.
trial by fire. Like you were like straight in.
I was just like, okay, I'm like, what's the game plan? Like, we're on the floor of the day one. I'm just like, what am I doing again? Like,
There's no internet connection.
yeah, I'm like, I'm like, they
How am
take
I
us to the
getting these-
media room, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, what is this, dude? Like,
Floating you back and forth between the hotel to upload video.
yeah, man, that was a wild time. That was like, I don't think I've ever had like a job where it's like, because every job I've had is sort of like you ease in. Yeah, you come to a shoot, you work the third camera, so you're not the important shot, like you're just like the background shot. Like, you just come in, you know, observe everything. No, this was like straight up, just like, here's the camera, here's the laptop.
You're in charge of getting this out.
we got Hoka at 9 a.m. We have Brooks at 10. Like, just firing on all cylinders.
And you survived that, which was a good indicator for us that things were going to work out.
Yeah.
And then we immediately turn around and head down to Orlando
For the Olympic trials, yeah.
And you got to share a bedroom with Robbie, because at that point we hadn't really planned on having everybody there.
Right, yeah, I remember that. That was fun. That was such a fun weekend. That's when the Hoka Cielo X1 came out. That's when we met like the Hoka team. Like, obviously I've never had any experience with them. But yeah, no, that was awesome. Citius Mag, that's the first time I saw like Chris Chavez like in person.
So it is kind of interesting you say like getting dropped in. Like for us, we slowly worked on these relationships and made a relationship in with the brands. For you, you're coming in as a fan of running and a fan of like the gear, and all of a sudden you're sitting next to Kafuzi, who you watched on video. You're talking to the guy who's in charge of making the shoes for Asics.
Yep.
You're like immersed immediately in this like world that you've been kind of watching from the outside. What is that like?
Dude, yeah, it's like one of those things where like you try not to fanboy too much, but it's funny because again, like in my previous line of work, I've worked with like, you know, I've seen pretty high, like I won't say celebrities, but like, you know, high, you know, on the totem pole here of life, I guess.
Guy Fieri.
Yeah, basically. But you know, I've worked with celebrity chefs like really high, like, you know, but it's just like, it's, you know, you got to get that mentality of like, you know, it's still work, you know, like you're just be cool, just don't be that dude, you know, just don't be that weird dude. Like,
well, I think the difference is like when you're working on in that kind of thing, you're filming a show and it's over and the hangout is done. The difference now is like typically when we go someplace and we see even people that are like this past trip, we went to Korea and we're hanging out with Jeff Denge, who's from Runner's World.
Yeah.
But like we're having a beer with him. We're hanging out. It's not like the shoot stops and you move on.
It feels, it's more organic in a way. Like, it's like there is no like hard like work is done type of thing. It's like, all right, the agenda's done for the day, but hey, let's all grab dinner. Let's all like socialize for a couple hours and then do it again tomorrow. Like,
and with that, like knowing, like watching back and seeing some of the Believe in the Run videos, and now knowing like what our relationships with the brand, because I think that people can get things conflated. That yes, we can be friends with people that work on the brand side. Yeah. And at the same time maintain our objective, honest, or I guess it's subjective, honest reviews on our friends' projects.
Yeah. And I think, you know, if you work in an industry, it's good to have that, like, that relationship of knowing just like, hey, like, you know, I'm always going to be straight up with you. Like, because I think at the end, like, everyone wants the best for everybody, including themselves. So it's like, if I can make a better product, why not, you know, take some of this feedback?
Yeah. For me, that one of the things that's been interesting about it is that they'll talk to us and they'll be like, yeah, we had to make that change because of a cost cutting, or we had to do this. Yeah. And so they may already know what you're going to hit them with. Yeah. So it's not like when people think, oh, you're going to ruin the relate. No, they a lot of times already know. Yeah.
And that just reinforces that we know the details. Like we are nitty gritty and we know like when things get changed, and it just shows that like, we're looking out for that. Like, we're covering it.
Can you name how many places you've gone since you started working here? You've been here a little over 2.5 years. Yeah. How many places have you been?
Dude, like, just like dozens of cities.
It's a mind blur.
It's like it's crazy because I actually never flew. I never traveled. Like, I went to Montreal like 3 times like before COVID. Like, that was probably the most traveling I did, and we drove up there. But like flying, I was always like not scared of flying, but it's more like I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I could drive there, that'd be better. Whatever. Like, I love road trips and stuff.
It'd be tough to do to Kenya.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but and now I feel like I'm such an expert at like just navigating the airport, just like getting through security, coming through customs, like all that's like second nature to me now. It's like insane, and I love it. Like, I've always wanted to travel and see the world, but like I guess never knew how to get into like doing that. Yeah. Like,
I mean, it was crazy last year. Some of the places we went, almost forget. Oh, that we did do that. This year. But so I can tell you, we've been to Tokyo, we've been to Africa, we've been
Kenya.
to Germany several times, we've been to London a couple times. I mean, across the Chicago, Boston,
all the major
Western
cities.
states.
Yep.
We went to Switzerland, we went to Italy, we went to Venice, we went to Chamonix.
Yeah.
Like it is a wild blur.
Yeah.
And this is all in a 2.5 year period.
2.5 year period, man. Yeah.
So of the trips and the things that you've been able to do since you've been here, what are some of the highlights?
Man, I mean, where to begin? Every trip is special for like its own separate reason, I think. But like, as far as like going back into my head and thinking like about like what I thought was like amazing, I mean, I think Chamonix up there. Us doing the ETC was like incredible. Just like the view, just remembering like what the view was like at the top of a mountain in Italy. It's like crazy. Like just like thinking about it. And then obviously like just being involved in the actual events themselves, like being at the gorge, like the Hoka Light Tunnel.
Spectating
like,
some of these things.
Yeah. Like
top
being,
athletes in the world.
Yeah. And then you could say the same for like Boston Marathon finish line. It's also very epic in its own way. I know Kenya was kind of rough, like as far as like the travel goes, but you know, it was still a very cool thing to like be able to go on Moy Ben Road, which like is like the most famous like long running road in Africa, or in Kenya at least.
With motorcycle companions bringing us water.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and then when like Asics like brought us for the Olympics, going to Paris. Doing that was sick. Volleyball by the Eiffel Tower.
Ugh.
You know, we saw Worlds with them in Tokyo, being able to capture like Clayton Young taking that dive in the marathon, like me being right there and capturing that.
That was insane.
It's like, yeah, just like there's so many things about these trips that are just like so memorable. But yeah, I don't know. Chamonix for some reason just keeps coming. I think it's because it's more recency bias because that was like less than a year ago.
Yeah,
but
but
in August. But
you've been to
the Western States too is
Yeah.
also like pretty incredible.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So a lot of times I am so focused on what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and we like, for example, we went to Korea and we were there for 4 days.
Yeah.
You're so focused on what you're doing. You're not really getting the chance to soak everything up.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love about some of the video recaps or even the podcast recaps.
Yeah.
When we go back and I go, oh yeah, that's what it was like. And you do an amazing job of kind of capturing the vibe. Like if you look at the Chamonix video, for me, these are treasures because we're moving so quick. And like, even like this year, if I go to Chamonix, I know I'm going someplace else right after it.
Right.
Like I won't even have time to like finish the week at Chamonix. It'll be like, I'll be cutting out early to go. And so, you know, a lot of times I'm thinking, okay, here's a deliverable we need. Here's what we need to get. Here's how we want to position this.
Mm-hmm.
And so your mind's going the whole time, but it's not really relaxed and being like, hey, this is what's going on. And I know every once in a while I turn to you and I'm like, can you believe we're freaking here?
Mm-hmm.
Like we just were in London. Now we're in in Nuremberg.
Yep.
Like this is insane.
Yeah.
What a life. But it really does. It's the after part for me. Without those videos, I think I would forget or something. And even we just did a project for Adidas and we went back and pulled footage from Road to Records.
Yeah.
And that was like 2 years ago, which feels like a blink of the eye.
Yep.
And I'm like, I need to go back and watch some of these videos because these are like, it's our lives.
Yeah. That's actually, so when I joined, it was like kind of my, I guess the one thing I wanted to bring to the table other than, doing shoe reviews, between two shoes, first thoughts, all the good stuff that you guys know and love. The legacy channel, if you will. But I was like, you know what? I'm like, when I was watching you guys do these events and I'd listen to the podcast recaps of all of them, like whenever we went to the World Majors or went to Worlds in Oregon or whatever. I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, can I see it? Like, can I like
follow along?
Can I be there? Yeah. Can I be there with you guys? Like, if I can't actually be there with you guys, let me like kind of get to experience what Believe in the Run gets to experience when they get to do these things. So when I came, I'm like, I remember we did for Olympic trials, that was the first video that I did, like in that style. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, you guys really haven't really had any videos like that before. So it was kind of like a blank slate, kind of just like do what I want to do type of thing. And just hope that it like people like it type of thing, which was awesome. Like we did it just like a vlog style. It was like day one, we're here, we're at the airport, we're here. We did a panel with Sidious. We did like the Hocus Yellow X1 launch. It was like a ton of things. And in my head, and every time I go on these trips, it's like always just in my head, just like building. I just like have like a Premiere timeline open in my brain, and I'm just like stacking clips, and I'm just like, all right, what's next? Like, okay, so we're doing this launch event. All right, but then we're doing lunch, and then we're doing something after. It's like, how do we transition? Like, I'm already thinking about, like, I'm already building it in my head as we're on the trip.
See, that's the thing I think would be hard to take other people. And a lot of times, like, we'll have other cameras and we'll capture stuff, and you have to figure out how to weave it in.
Right.
But for me, that would be the difficult part, because when you're looking and you're experiencing it, you're kind of building it in your head.
Yeah.
And then slide in someone else's content. I almost feel like I hate when I have to do Photoshop stuff and I have to look at somebody else's file and they're like, they don't name their layers or it can drive you nuts. It just makes things harder. So that was, I'm sure, a little bit challenging as well.
Yeah, and especially because like we just like capture so much whenever we're at this thing, whether it's on your iPhone or like we use like the DJI cameras, the Insta360 cameras, those small things. I have my Sony. We just have like a bunch of like.
There's literally, when we're walking around, and we've gotten so dependent on you sometimes that we need to remind ourselves, oh no, we need to get that footage. We can't just rely on the one camera.
And to be fair, I do shoot more than I use, for the most part. Like sometimes I'll try not to overshoot if I know I'm like we don't need it, if I don't need it that much or whatever, or if it's like redundant and if I have enough of it. Because man, between all the reviews and all the other stuff that we do, promos and like just other reels too, like that stuff like takes up so much space on the hard drive that I'm constantly just like half my day like at the end of the week is just reorganizing all my hard drives and making sure I can save which is why I save like all the trip recaps like in high quality, like so like there's like the YouTube cut, which is just like the standard, like this goes on YouTube and lives there. But then I export like a high quality cut that like is like a theater grade like cut. And it's a really large file, but I save like most of them. And sometimes I'll just go back and watch them all in order. Like I'll start with trials and I'll go through. I've gone through like 2024 into 2025, and it's just like, yeah, dude, it's cool. It's cool to be able to have that. Like I know, I know a lot of people watch them, but like it's sometimes I don't want to say it's disheartening, but it's more like
I was gonna ask you.
I know it's more like, well, I understand.
Well,
like,
here's the thing. The travel videos are probably my favorite, just like it would be like when your parents used to sit, or like if you're from the 50s and they would be like, okay, everybody sit down.
Slideshow time.
Yeah. Family beach vacation.
Yeah.
For me, those are my favorite because it's everybody in the crew, and it's like a wild experience usually that we're doing.
Yeah.
And so it's really kind of crazy, and I know how much work goes into it. So from the camera shooting to the color grading to the sound to the editing to the whole thing, and then we'll do a stupid unboxing or something. and
that gets like 10 times more views or whatever.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, people are missing out. Yeah. But that's where I don't think that all the time, and I know that in the business we're in, attention does matter, but I also think whose attention matters. And
I remember you drilled that into me, like as like the couple recaps that we did, like after a couple trips, because I was just like, man, like these, like I thought these for sure were gonna hit, because like that's what I wanted to see when I like was watching you guys before I got hired. I felt like people like Kafuzi are very successful in that space as well. And I'm like, I feel like people like want this like type of like experience. And I do realize that they do. But I also realize that the mere masses just want to see a shoe. Like, it's not like, I understand how it works now. Like, I understand like the way the game is played. But I like to think when I'm making those like videos, like that's for the long term. That's for like That's for us. Like, I think like that's the one thing is like, yeah, if you watch it and you enjoy it, that's great. But I'm making this type of stuff like for us.
Yeah.
So that we can look back years to come and be like, oh, we did that.
Yeah.
you know?
Shoe reviews are important, and it helps
Yeah.
people now pick out the best product for them.
Sure. Yeah.
Right now. It is one of those things where it's fun for me to see like how far we've come from the days where I used to go into basically a closet with my iPhone.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I started with, what was that camera that we determined?
Flip
A
video.
flip video camera.
Yeah.
And just basically stand in a white room, say the stats of the shoe, and to where we are now, which, I think we provide good information. And just the same as like if I'm looking for a camera, I want to know what's the best camera to get, or what settings out of the box should I be changing on this camera. Yeah. So that is a high demand space. Mm-hmm. That guy going on a camera trip in Africa, I just wanted to know what camera to buy.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that's the difference is like there are people who care and want to know like the behind the scenes stuff and want to go along with us. And since you started, we also opened up the dirt division. Yeah. And Taylor, and I think that's been a fun addition to like the repertoire of what we can bring to the table.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's awesome.
You basically had to teach Taylor though how to do a lot of stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, but he's
got on his own.
Yeah, he's getting there. I mean, he's in Colorado. What am I supposed to do? I can't hit the button for him.
Yeah. But having you here allowed us to have Taylor because up until then we're like, we need people in the office because we need to shoot here and put the content together here. Yeah. This isn't, while we do have trails, it's not what I would call a heavy trail scene out here like it is in Colorado. Yeah. But so having somebody here who can help get Taylor up to speed on recording, he's starting to do some more of his own editing. Yeah. Stuff like that. Without you, that wouldn't have been possible.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, I mean, I just like the process so much, and like one of the goals, at least like something I love to do, is try and refine my workflow. And it's like if you have a good workflow, like everything else will just fall into place. So like if I can help someone else like try and navigate that, because I think the hard thing for beginners and like just people who aren't really into like video editing or doing this type of thing, it gets very daunting because like you just don't have, there's no direction. Like you open the program, there's a blank timeline and you're just like, what do I do now? So having some sort of structure and kind of figuring out like logistics in that regard, it's like, it's fun to me. It's like, it's problem solving. It's like doing a puzzle. Yeah. And then you get to see the rewards of it when you finally complete a video and you finally hit export for the last time after you made like 5 different revisions. And you're just like, before you upload it to YouTube, you do the last like watch and you just watch it fully through and you're like, oh man, there's nothing I would change here.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So when you first got hired here, basically we thought, hey, it is a one-person job. We got 2 podcasts. Yeah. We've got shoe reviews. We've got these travel trips. Every once in a while, I'll have a running event. This is one video guy can do all this. How quickly coming on were you like, there's a lot?
Yeah, it was. It was probably. It took a while, but because where I came from, like I said, I was mainly a shooter, and I had 3 editors. So it was like 3 shooters, 3 editors. So I was always used to having someone like be with me to do B-roll, like another B-roll cam, or I could just give the card to an editor and like be like, work on this, and then come back, be like, oh yeah, you should change this. It's just like that collaboration, like whatever, that like procedure, that process is like something I've always had. Like when you work on a film, it's always a crew. Like you always have a crew. Like you could do the solo thing for a little bit, but like at the end of the day, you need a crew. And so like editing the stuff was fine, but like the podcasts were just like, those are like really like the main consistent thing that we put out. It's every week. There's always a drop episode.
Yeah, the other ones are dependent on shoe drops.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it can always shift. Like that scheduling can always shift. But like the one consistent thing is every week, every Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern, you'll get an episode of the drop. And then you eventually spun it off to where you did a guest episode on Mondays. So it's like one podcast, but split into two. And then, just having to do, and it's like, we try to make it fun for you guys where we add in visuals. Like we could literally just like do an audio podcast. Like I don't have to put a camera up right now. Like,
this is my favorite. And I think it has also been helpful in this, if somebody else is doing a podcast, having a camera was one of the reasons we were able to become a Spotify partner, because they wanted podcasts.
Video podcasts are like, definitely in now. And people do such a good job at it, man. Like I'm hoping that like, we can also like at some point start to upgrade a little bit and like finesse like the look and everything.
A little closer up or
having just multiple angles and just like being able to do that type of thing.
So speaking of which, we kind of shifted. We brought in this guy Brady to do part-time. Basically, we just hired him freelance to do just the podcast.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, he knew Robbie, and he lives in Baltimore, so he's like a local. He lives in our neighborhood, actually.
We all live within a block of each other.
It's pretty insane. So at first, I'm like, okay, well, we don't need an actual like video guy like in the office because I was still handling it, whatever. And then he brought him up. How he kind of like was also a fan of Believe in the Run, wanted to help out. So I'm like, if he doesn't mind taking the podcast, that would like actually help me out, like legitimately. Like that would like really help me. I can spend a little more time on the shoe reviews, a little more thought and detail into those. And if you could just knock out the podcast, that would be great. So he started, I want to say like maybe 6 months after I started, because that was like an immediate like, this is not sustainable.
He's like I'm drowning.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if you want shoe reviews to come out on time, like and like more consistently have uploads on YouTube, I'm like, I need help. Like it's just like, and I'm thankful that you guys listened. Because a lot of times you could have just been like, I think you got it. Like,
I think work harder.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
And that's, we brought Brady in, and then there was one other time where I think he made a difference. Was Meg went to go see the sub 4 minute mile attempt.
In Paris. Right. That was June of 2025. So we were at Western States. Meg was in Paris. We were going to be at Western States longer than she was going to be in Paris. And we wanted a video out of her trip. And I'm like, well, there's no realistic way of me being able to do my Western States stuff, get back, cut this video, which Western States, by far, one of my favorite
That's a great
personal projects. 2025. 2024 is good, but we didn't stay for very long. That was more like a teaser for the 2025 video.
2024, we learned a lot.
So, I mean, it was your first time out there too, right? So
we learned a lot about just the event itself.
Yeah.
So 25, we went back and we stayed longer. We went out on the course and we went to Golden Hour, which Golden Hour is like the scene in Love Actually where people are coming in to the airport. And you're like, you think that the world is a bad place or you think this or whatever. This is a moment where you see people from international participants. They're all there just to finish and do something hard. And it's miraculous actually if you really think about it. Like when you look at the people coming through the line, like we obviously saw the pros come through. We saw Caleb Wilson come in. We saw Chris Myers. Like, you're like they're really good.
They're like, but when you look at them too, you're like, that's an athlete.
Yeah,
like that is an athlete. The people coming through at the end were like your
math teacher.
Yeah, your neighbor. Just like who just someone from the neighborhood, like your grocery store worker. Like it's just like insane to see like the vast differences in like the way people, but they did 100 miles. Like you think about that and you're just like,
I was actually more impressed with Golden Hour than I was with seeing Caleb Wilson finish, because you're like, he's a badass. He's trained.
Very good runner. Yeah.
He's sponsored.
He gets paid to run.
And he finished in like what, 14 hours?
14 hours. Something like that.
It doesn't seem that bad. These guys, coming in, they've been out there and the
23 hours.
The canyon. Just we went and got dinner. We had breakfast.
I think about everything that we did in the time from when it started, when we were on the escarpment and they were coming through all happy, which by the way, that's already 3 miles in, which is a very hard 3 miles because you're just going straight up a mountain. But then to see them at the end, yeah, it's like we did a whole bunch of stuff in between. We went to bed, we got up, had breakfast.
Well,
you know,
the year before that, we flew all the way home before they finished.
I know, it was crazy coming home and then like turning the TV on in my apartment and just seeing the stream. I'm just like, oh my, and they're still going, dude. That's insane.
Yeah.
But
So we needed to have Brady do a video while we were out there. And the reason I brought him in is now with Dirt Division and Believe in the Run, the amount of content has pretty much doubled.
Yeah, we are just consistently uploading. Like I think there's like a new video like at this point almost every day on like the main channel.
That's insane.
I mean, you got YouTube Shorts, we're pumping things out on there. We got like, we have a Dirt Division podcast now that I work on with Taylor. There's just like a ton of things happening, and it's great that like once we brought Brady on, because it was funny, it was like this past fall, like I knew he was coming on. He basically came on in the same fashion as me, where he's running event. But I remember just working in September, October, and we were also getting pretty slammed at that point too. Just like end of the year, like the big shoes are coming in. We're doing the end of the year lists and like the roundups, and those videos are very long. But like I remember just like grinding through. I'm like, don't complain. He's coming quick. He's coming soon. Don't worry. Like it'll be fine. Like just get through it. And then like he'll be here next thing you know, and then it'll be great. And then so he came on, and the running event was a lot easier this time around.
We were able to, the year before you had to basically cover trail and road.
Yeah, but it wasn't that bad because I don't think Taylor had like that many appointments. Definitely not compared to this past year. Like he's definitely more established now in the space. But 2024 is more like, okay, 2023 was so like crazy that I did learn a lot. So 2024 wasn't too bad. But yeah, 2025 was just like, okay, this feels good. It's like knowing that there's someone else. I can just like be like, can you shoot that? Can you edit this one? Can like, and I don't consider myself a superior by any means. Just more like I'm a senior member just because I've been here longer and I know how things go. I know how like things work in the industry now. That I'll always try and like guide. But like, he has his own style of editing. He has his own style of shooting. And I think it's great to kind of have like that type of different output throughout the entire channel. So.
Well, in general, wouldn't you say it's sort of a flat organization where it's not like there's like one person who's dictating how things are going.
Right.
There's general stuff because we do repetitive stuff. But for the most part, that is what we're looking for in somebody is that creativity. And you brought a lot of creativity in with the way that you do things.
Right.
And it is fun to watch, like even with having Brady here, we've been able to even make some of the shoe reviews a lot better. So we've added in more B-roll. We've added in, this one of my favorite ones, and I'm actually surprised the numbers on this one aren't higher. But the light spray hyper
that one
3
too.
is Cloud Monster 3 is it to me that was the best shoe review I've ever seen. I'm not just talking in Believe in the Run. I'm talking it's the best shoe review I've ever seen.
It's pretty awesome. Like it's like, dude, we open up, like I get to do the little trip thing, like, just a little slice of it, but it tells the story of us being there. I mean, we basically did 2 different shoe reviews in one. Yeah. We did a bunch of comparisons. We did like a between 3 shoes, like at the end. Like it was a lot packed in for under half an hour. Like that was pretty solid. But I wouldn't have been able to like do that type of video. Like if this was like 2023, 2024, forget about it, dude. I would have just slapped together. I would have made you do 2 separate reviews and be like, we're just going to make these like 5 minutes each and just whatever.
But here's the thing, like, and this is the example, and I'm hoping that, because a lot of times you would be behind the camera, so maybe people don't know that you're building these relationships as well.
Sure.
But the thing about it is, and I'm bringing it back to like, there is a value to us knowing the people behind the product that gives us a leg up on pretty much. You would think that people worry that we're getting too close to them or that we could be biased by them.
Yeah.
And look, that we do end up feeling affection towards the people that we get to meet, but that's like human nature.
Right. Yeah.
But we still stay objective for the product. But the thing about it is, in this particular video, we would never have the information that we got on that shoe without being at the factory, seeing them put it together. Like at the factory, they don't even think that it's a big deal that they've added 3.9 millimeters to the foam of the light spray version of the Cloud Monster, where you're like, that's the difference I feel in the shoe. And because we got to find that out, we would have never known that. It's not on a stat sheet. It's not on any document that they sent out with the shoes. And when I first started, you didn't even get like a sheet with the shoes.
Like a tech sheet or something?
Yeah, you did not get a tech sheet. You just like, here's the shoe. And you had to guess at the foam, of course, EVA. Guess at it. You were probably guessing a lot of times the drop, or maybe that was the only thing they would give you. Is a drop. Or if you knew like somebody who was sending the shoe, you'd be like, hey, what is this? But there wasn't tech sheets, there wasn't all that. And so now when we go in, we talk about a shoe, especially if we're able to go behind the scenes like we were with On there, we know everything that they know about the shoe. And then we try it. And then I feel like it's like going to a vineyard, seeing the grapes they choose, watching them make the thing, and then tasting it and going, because you could see the whole process and be like, oh, this wine tastes like shit.
But at least you know why it tastes like shit.
Exactly. But in these cases, you can also go, okay, maybe like the other thing that I didn't used to know that makes a difference is the intention of the shoe. So like if we're judging a shoe, and now there's more nuances between shoes, but it used to be like, okay, all shoes, and you're like, oh no, this one's built for high school and this and that. But
it's always interesting to me because there's so many parallels between what I used to do and like what I'm doing now. And it's like what you were just talking about, like seeing how things get made and everything. Like I, like on that restaurant show, like I would follow, like I worked at a restaurant in the Hudson Valley, and like I followed the chef like into like the forest in the back, and he was foraging like ingredients and stuff, and then going to the kitchen, seeing them break down everything and like actually making it, and then like seeing it in its finished form. And it's great because like I did restaurants like that, but I also did like local burger joints, and it's like the same process, but it's like all different, like the final product. So being able to see that with shoes now, and like you were saying, the intention, like what's the intention of this meal, what's the intention of this shoe, and like being able to separate like just like yourself from the main idea. It's like, okay, it's a running shoe, but like being able to incorporate like the tech, the art, like the marketing, like just everything around it, around a product release. It's like, it's incredible to see just like the whole process. And then being able to see that like in just about every, like from every space in the, like in the industry, like, it's like, dude, I'm like just learning so much. And it's like, at the same time though, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense they would do that, because I know that these people would do this in this industry. And it's just like, it's just how the world works, you know?
I guess that's a good question then. So for your inspiration, when you're putting together a clip or a trip recap or whatever's your favorite thing to do, where do you draw inspiration from? Like, who do you look to for kind of like keeping you on your game?
Oh, that's interesting. It's funny. I've always had this joke with my friends. I'm like, the more you get into the industry of just like making things and like filming and stuff, the less you actually watch. It's like you tend to watch a lot, like when you're not doing a lot, but then when you're doing, you're not watching a lot. So like actually right now, like I don't watch like any running content, to be honest. Like I love I love everyone in the space, but I just don't watch those videos anymore. But I do watch just like other channels that are kind of like doing like kind of the same, not the same things as us, but like more or less like presenting it in the same way. So I mean, that dude Speed on YouTube's pretty good. Brady like loves him. Like he's a very good storyteller. I actually just more or less like watching, like I remember like movies that I like. So for every trip, I try to do it differently style wise. Like I'll color it differently than the last video, like depending on, like if you notice Chamonix, like for Hoka was like very blue. Yeah. Because there's like just the morning and you saw the mountains, snowy mountains, the blue Mafate. So like I leaned into that color palette. But like as far as just like music and just pacing, I try to make things different. Like, and I take that, I think, from a lot of like the cinema that I used to like watch growing up. As far as just like new stuff, like, yeah, there's this guy, like, thanks to you and Robbie, I like really got into watches in the last year. And there's this guy, Teddy Baldassar. If you guys know watches, you probably know him. He's really big in the watch scene, but he makes like really good videos. He just did a new Tudor factory tour, and they show like the Tudors being made, like being like sculpted. And like, I just love seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
I just love seeing like, and then, but there's like a storytelling element too. It's like a very documentary like type of style. But it's also on YouTube, and it's less than half an hour, and it's like wonderful. I'm just like,
so wait, so let's get into this a little bit, because the gadgets and the stuff are part of the fun.
yeah,
And obviously you get to shoot on a lot of different cameras.
Yeah,
we were pretty much Sony when you came on board.
Sure.
But for your personal stuff, you do a lot of Fuji stuff.
I have, for my photo stuff, I like using the Fuji cameras. They're just so easy to use, and they just like look so good out of camera, and they're so customizable with like the looks that you can get, the recipes you can use, and it's relatively, I mean, they shot up in price now, but like back when I got into them in like 2014. So I was like an early adopter, like when they just hit the scene, because I think they started making their Series X cameras in 2011. So they were still relatively new, but the name has been around for decades at that point. But I mean, dude, I've shot on like,
What would be your dream setup?
that's tough to answer. Like just as like an everyday,
Like when we go out, I notice when we go on the trips, and when you're not going to be, I mean, you can still use the Fuji to capture some of the video, and you do sometimes.
Yeah.
But like that camera that you could just grab and take with you, what would be a dream piece for you?
I mean, I really am interested in the Fuji's medium format cameras, the GFX. Like, they look really good. Obviously, that would mainly be for photo. I wouldn't really use it for video, but that would be a sick camera to just like, it's a little bit bigger, but like than your standard camera, but it's not that much bigger, and like you just get a bigger sensor, and you get such a unique look from it. But if I were to guess now, if I were to like just take a stab on what's on the market now, let's say for what we do, I would really love for Sony to update the FX30, which is our main camera. Like, I think everyone's been asking. It's 6 years old now. It's like, what's going on? Like, where's an update? I'm surprised there hasn't been one. I would say the A12, which is like Sony's flagship SLR right now, is probably like the best of both worlds. I mean, our main man D Hash uses that camera. It's a workhorse. He takes that thing everywhere.
I thought he used Canon. He uses it.
No, he's Sony. He's Sony.
He's A1. Okay.
Yeah. I think just our friend Justin Hall uses Canon.
Yeah.
And I think Chase also is on Canon. But I've at my last production company, we all use Canon. Like, they have this cinema series of cameras, and those bodies are great. I've worked with Reds. I've worked with Aris. I've worked with Panasonics. It's funny because gear is like running shoes, like, different brands. Like, I know it's nice to have like one homogenous for like a company or something.
Yeah.
Like, you stick with one ecosystem. You get the lenses, you get everything, all the accessories. Like,
I mean, that's the reason we started with a Sony A7 III.
Yeah.
And so we had the lenses.
Yeah. So
And
it makes
so
sense.
it's
It makes
just like,
sense. Yeah.
just why would we?
Dude, I remember
lenses are the expensive part.
And those are the ones that hold their value. Like, a camera body like loses its value. It's like a car. It's like once you buy it and you start clicking the shutter, because they can count the mechanical shutter
really?
count. Yeah, and it's like mileage on your camera.
Oh, wow.
So if you sell it, like, they'll look at, that's one of the things they look at. But I remember when Sony was dog, dude. They were so bad in like 2012, 2013.
Then their
so bad.
autofocus got good.
Yeah, dude, they couldn't focus for anything. Their color looked really bad. The menus were really bad. And then the A7 III was actually the first camera where they flipped it. When there was like, okay, this is actually pretty good now. So it took them 2 revisions. And then, of course, like the low light capability when the A7S first came out.
Okay, so say that you're somebody getting into the industry and you want to do like what you do. Mm-hmm. What would be the camera that you'd recommend?
Oh, man. To do like exactly what we do, or more like actually running stuff? Because then, like,
I would say
recommendations get a little different there.
I would say it doesn't have to necessarily be running stuff. I would say you want a camera for video and to take photos, maybe.
Okay. I mean, if there really isn't a budget, I would just say, honestly, the new Sony A7 IV is pretty good. That would probably be one. If you want to keep it light, I mean, yeah, even now, still the Osmo Pocket 3 from DJI is really good. I would also say like the cameras are good now. You can use basically anything. Focus on the audio because I think like bad audio will ruin.
Dude, do you know how long it took us to figure out audio here? We had the worst audio. Like that used to be our biggest complaint on our reviews.
Yeah.
And we tried everything.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't figure it out. And it was funny because one of the people who worked here had a degree in sound engineering. And I'm like, how come you can't figure this out?
Yeah. I mean, sound is tough because it's always dependent on location. And even if you're doing things in the same location, things can change. Like when I used to film interviews, we did like hour-long interviews or whatever. Like we would have to stop if a plane went overhead. Like we would have a boom guy and he'd be like, wait, plane. And you wait for the plane to go. We would shut off, like, dude, sometimes in the summer you'd have to turn off the AC because it's too loud.
Yeah.
So you basically did whatever you could to get good sound. Like if that meant like changing location or whatever. But now luckily, you know, these little DJI mics are great. Like they just, you know, they have some issues that I have some qualms with, but like overall for the price, you can't beat them. So I would say get that and like.
And that's what we use for a lot of our stuff. And we recently, because we forgot our mics.
We didn't know. Yeah.
We even upgraded a little bit now.
Yeah. They're great.
I've noticed the old ones haven't come back out.
Yeah, no, they're still there. Well, the main reason I don't want to use the old ones now is because the receiver is actually broken. It only feeds through one channel, which is very annoying. But I mean, there's some things I do miss about the second version of the mic. We're talking about the DJI mic.
Because you can do the live.
You can add the lav, and it had its own USB-C port on it, so you could like charge it individually, and you could data transfer instead of having to put it in the case
and then do it.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's just like little things like that. But I mean, yeah, overall, I mean, like compared to where I came from, like 10 to 12 years ago, like the tech in just about everything has gotten so much better. It's like, it's so insane. Like you didn't have video autofocus back in the day. Like you had to manually focus. Like you would buy like a focus puller, like a rig, and you would have it, and you'd have someone else. You could do it wirelessly, someone else off screen, which they still do in like Hollywood.
Yeah,
I
saw the person showing.
But like to be able to do like just like capturing everyday stuff in like really a really good image. Like it's so easy now. Like just even the iPhone autofocus isn't bad. Like I've been using the iPhone more. Like in half the stuff, the Korea stuff was shot on my iPhone. Like it looks amazing. Like,
I mean, that's an interesting one because if you look back at that, there's the Insta360, and then there's the iPhone. There's the
DJI stuff.
And this guy, right?
Yeah, but being able to marry all of them.
And not be like too crazy.
Yeah, it's like too much of a crazy shift. It's like, dude, you can do it. Like it's definitely there. You just have to have the patience and like to learn about color and just editing in general and pacing and stuff.
All right, I'm gonna ask you about Dream Watch because that's the second thing you've gotten into recently.
Yeah. Dream Watch, man. I really do like the tutors. Like
I do.
I know. You got the Peli 39. I know.
I'm looking at the content. No, I don't need another one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you know.
Yeah. I did turn 35 in August. So I'm like, that's a good year.
Yeah.
That's a good milestone, right? Like every 5 years or whatever. Like, definitely, yeah, looking at the black bays. I've tried a couple ones on. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's tough. Now I have a 7-inch wrist, so it's like I can pretty much pull off anything.
There you go.
So it's like
I don't
tough.
even know how the measurement of my wrist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right. So we didn't get into too many personal things to choke you up or childhood traumas or anything.
Oh
like
yeah,
that. Is there anything you want to cover that we didn't so the audience can get to know you better?
Yeah. No. Well, I did. I had a really good friend. Carolina, she was one of my favorite people in the world. She was actually one of the first people who like congratulated me on like starting to run, and like me and her were we met in college and we went way back, and like we used to like go to shows together all the time. We used to like drink all the time together. It was so fun, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer during the pandemic. So it was one of those things too where it was like I wanted to leave Jersey a lot sooner. Because after the pandemic, I'm like, let's get out of here, bro. Let's go to LA. You know, let's go like make something of ourselves or whatever. And but she was obviously going through chemo and getting treatments done, stuff like that. So it was one of those things where like I just always stayed in Jersey. I guess to trick myself, I would say, oh yeah, it's too expensive to move out, you know. all that type of thing. But like, it was more because I just wanted to be here with her and I didn't want to leave. And so she finished chemo in like June of 2022. And it was, again, one of those things where like, because I used to like post on Instagram about my running because I wanted to impress like people. She was one of the people I wanted to impress, like just to show her that like, hey, look at me. I'm not a piece of crap, you know?
I'm worthy of your affection.
Yeah. It was weird. We had a very like weird relationship. It's like we dated but didn't really type of thing. But we ended up staying just like really good friends, like talk to each other all the time. She ended up passing away in September of 2023. So literally, I think it was about a week before you guys put out the call on Instagram, like and that was part of the reason too why I wanted to. I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity to like change. Go. Yeah. And I think she would have loved it. I think she would have been like, why did you stay in Jersey this long? Why didn't you just like, you know, and this is your time to go type of thing. But I remember that was like probably like and it sucked too because I was like right at the peak of like my Amsterdam training block, but I had to go. I was like going to the hospital and like just seeing her and like staying by her side and whatnot. And so that was like the toughest, I think, thing that I've gone through as an adult because like it's one thing to lose somebody when they're not like in your view or like you're not with them, but like I saw her. I wasn't there when she passed, but I was there the day that she passed. I think she passed about 3 hours after I left the hospital. But it was crazy because, like, I thought she was doing fine. And admittedly, I did, you know, you do the thing where you're so wrapped up in what you're doing. Like, I'm like doing my first marathon. So I'm training hard throughout the summer. I'm like putting in like really high mileage weeks. And I wasn't like hanging out with a ton of people at the time. So, like, it kind of got to like a point where like we kind of just like didn't talk throughout the summer, but I thought she was fine. You know, she had a bunch of friends and, you know, she was dating a guy, really good guy at the time. And she seemed happy. I saw her Instagram stories and stuff. She was traveling a lot too. So I was like, perfect. She's fine or whatever. And she wished me happy birthday that August. My birthday is August 7th. So it was like early in the month.
Presents now.
Now, you know, and then it wasn't until like late August that like I got the news from like one of her friends that she was like in hospice basically.
And now I'm curious because, you know, we do a lot of stuff with the Donna Foundation, which is fighting for, or not fighting, they are working on eradicating breast cancer and helping people. And you see a lot of success in treatment and people coming out of, you know, breast cancer, not having it being terminal.
Sure.
What was her situation? What was her?
So she was off the bat, she was diagnosed as like metastatic, like stage 4, off the bat. So she went to chemo.
So it was caught late.
I guess it was funny because like I don't think it was caught that late because they did some like treatments before. Like she had told, I mean, this was 2021, and yeah, so about 2 years. But she went through chemo for like 9 months or so. And it seemed good. Like she rang the bell and everything. But I think it just like, I don't know what it was, but it just came back.
Yeah.
And I think.
How old was she?
31.
Yeah. So young.
Yeah. So young. No, like I talked to her mom, like there's like no family history, anything like that. So it's kind of like it was just like an unfortunate, like just one of the unlucky ones, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I think she, like from what I gathered from like talking to her friends afterwards and stuff, it's like, I think she kind of knew that. And I think she just didn't want to go through it again. So it was one of those like, all right, well, this is like, and if I know her well enough, which I'm pretty sure I do, like that's her attitude was just like, fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, you know, like she didn't come from like, she didn't have like the best health benefits or whatever. Like, you know, she worked a regular job. She didn't come from money. So it's like, it's tough to like get like the extreme amount of care that you need in that situation. So I think she just like cut her losses and was just like, fuck it, you know?
And that had a big impact on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you feel like it hit you as hard as it did?
Well, because she was really like, for me, it was like one of those like, will we ever like be a thing again type of thing.
There's a more than a friendship kind of
Yeah, yeah. It was like it's an odd feeling because like I don't think I've ever felt that way about anyone to that point, and it was just like you always think, oh, I thought we'd have more time. Like I thought we'd go to more shows together. I thought we'd like have more summer nights drinking, like just being dumb and everything. And then you realize like super quickly, like it wasn't even a matter of like her telling me, oh, like I got, I'm out of remission or whatever. Like it came back. It was straight to hospice. Like it was like, I got a call. I was at a shoot. I got a call from her friend and was like, I need to talk to you, whatever, something bad. And then I talked to her boyfriend at the time and he was like, yeah, he's like, the sooner you get here, the better type of thing. Cause I was like, cause I didn't know what was happening. I was like, what's happening, dude? Like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So it all happened very quickly. It was like 3 days.
Oh, geez.
That I like walked. Yeah. From like the moment that I found out to when she passed, it was about 3 days. I found out on Thursday. She was gone by Saturday, like evening. So that was hard. That was really hard to deal with for like a while. And yeah, it was one of those things where like when I got like the email or like when I started talking to Meg about like working here and stuff, and I'm like, part of me was like, damn, dude, like you couldn't hold out for just a little bit longer so I could tell you all the cool things that I'm going to be doing and like just how drastic life is going to change and how happy I think you'd be like watching me do it. So
I do, you feel when people have an impact on your life that way and they are removed, there is a feeling, I think, a good feeling for a lot of us take comfort in the fact that maybe they can see or maybe that there is a part that is still with you that knows what's up.
I felt that way throughout like the first long run that I did after she passed was like one of the most like, I guess, spiritual runs that I've had. Because it really felt like she was there and it really felt like I was like chasing her ghost around or something. It was like just odd thinking about like all the parties that we went to and all the things that we did in like the year leading up. And just like, yeah, it was just weird. It just felt like she was there. Like no matter where I turned, no matter how far I was running, like it just felt like she was there. And I'm not much of a spiritual guy to begin with, really. Like I grew up in a religious household, but never really took it with me to adulthood. But there was something about it that was like, all right. And I felt like that was her, like, in a weird way, it felt like the job offer was like her way of saying, like, it's fine. Like, live your life. Go ahead. Like, continue. Yeah. Now's the time. Like, you got to take the chance. Because I'm really bad. I was really bad with, like, taking chances growing up. Like, point proven through her. Like, we never officially were dating. It was always like that weird gray murky area. So, because I was always afraid of losing the friendship that we had and I didn't want to jeopardize that at all. So it's like one of those like
I'll just stay in this spot rather than lose it.
But it never came, there was never any type of like, I've dated different people. She's dated different people. So it's like, I was never jealous. I was never like feeling any type of like animosity towards that. But it was more of just like sadness, just more like, oh man, like I just lost someone like super close to me, someone that I had like really deep feelings for. And I told her this like on her deathbed. Like I kind of just came clean and just spilled everything. And I knew she heard me. Like I could tell like she was acknowledging what I was saying. And there's like I took a picture. I'm like, can I take a picture of us? And I like held her hand and I have that picture and it's in my favorites folder. And I still look at it every now and then. Because it just reminds me of like, knowing that the story that we had created, it's like if you want to think of it like a TV show, you build up that arc and it finally came to a head at that moment. And it was like that payoff that you feel like after you watch like the last season of a TV show or something. So that's kind of where my mind was and where it went for a while. And then, moving down here, it was sort of like a good distraction, I guess, for the grief. So yeah, it was tough. It was like, I was like, I don't have time to be sad right now. Cause like, I'm literally shifting my entire life. But I still think about her all the time. So it's like one of those things where again, she's like never really gone. And I think it's great. Like I did Amsterdam. So like Amsterdam happened about a month after she passed. I wore like these like pink, like armbands. Cause there's also breast cancer awareness. It's October, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that for her, and I carried a picture of her in my little belt while I was running. So yeah, and I found that's when I finally discovered like running like really is that can be that type of therapy for people. Like it really is like
It gives you time to think.
yeah, but it's also great because you're also like I'm in Amsterdam. This is a marathon. There's like oh my god, there's so many people around. Like there's like
Life.
a lot of joy, a lot of life, and it's like and then you look at other people and you see and you think about like why they're running and like why they're doing the things that they do, and it's a great collection of just humanity, like all in one. So
All right, so let's transition to one thing that you feel like you want people to understand about you that maybe is a misconception, or one thing that you could clarify for people, because you meet a lot of people. When what we do, you'll have a lot of people come up and be like, "Hey, Karl,"
yeah,
and they feel like they know you. What is something that you want people to know about you?
ooh, what I want people to know about me. I mean, I just I work hard. I'm a hard worker. This job is a lot of fun, and it looks like a lot of fun, and it is, but like it comes at a cost. I definitely work a lot and edit a lot, and not because not because like someone's telling me. It's not like you or Meg are like, you got to edit this on the weekend. It's like I do it because like I like the opportunities that we get, and if we want
More opportunities.
we want more opportunities, it's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So like I guess the one thing I would say is like if you meet me in person and we're at an event, don't think that I'm like being dismissive or anything. It's more of just like I'm trying to keep my eyes open. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to, I love meeting people who like listen to podcasts, and dude, I get messages.
I see you glow when somebody says, "Hey, Karl."
Yeah, no, it feels good. It feels really good, and it feels good to be acknowledged, and it feels good for people to like see the work that I've done and kind of appreciate it. But like, I'm always working, so it's like when we're there, I'm like, I have my camera out, I'm looking around. If I'm like turning to shoot, but I'm still like turning and talking to you, like that's just how I am, man. That's just how it is. Always try to be in the moment, but trying to figure out how to capture it as well. So. Yeah, I don't want anyone to be out there being like, oh, yeah, he wasn't listening to me. Like, no, I totally was. Like, everything you're saying, I'm totally taking in.
And it'll be recorded by the camera.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, exactly. So I'll watch it back later. Yeah. But, yeah, that's basically it. It's like, dude, like, if working, like I said, like I'm lucky enough to have been able to do this because I went to film school with a lot of people who no longer do this, who just never found a foothold in any industry or just wherever they wanted to do. And they end up going in a totally different path. And I grew up, once I turned 17, got my license, I got a job. So like I basically worked out the gate, and I worked food service, I worked service industry, like retail. So being able to do this, like come out of college and just be able to consistently grow my skill but apply it and have like all these jobs where I was able to kind of mash everything up until now. So basically I took everything I learned, all the similarities in everything I've ever done, and apply it to here. And, it's been working out so far. So can't complain.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Does that answer the question?
I think it does. I mean,
Okay.
You're telling people, hey, you can still come say hi. And even if I look distracted,
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's just, I guess I'm working, and it's like, but it's the best type of work. So
Also, you're single, right?
yes, I am as of right now. Yes.
Yeah. So come say hi.
Yeah. Come say hi at these events.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, normally Megan does this part, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to say, hi, Mom.
Hi, Robin.
And that is how we close this out. Thanks, Karl.
Thank you, Thomas.
Give a good stretch, got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna tuck run, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop. DRO.